You wake up. Same room. Same morning light filtering through the blinds. You stretch, check your phone, and realize your messages are gone. Not archived. Not deleted.
Gone.
You brush it off. Maybe your phone glitched. You step out of bed, reach for your clothes, and realize your favorite jacket is missing. You swear it was there yesterday. But hey, maybe it fell behind something. Maybe it's just one of those mornings. Until you get to work, or school, or the place you show up every single day. And when you walk in, they look right through you. "Can I help you?" someone asks, as if you're a stranger. I work here." They frown. "I think you're confused." Then someone else appears. Someone with your job, your seat, your role, your rhythm. And everyone greets them like they've always been there. Like you never were. What if someone erased you? Not from the world, but from the minds of those you love.
That's what happened to me.
But the worst part wasn't being forgotten. It was watching someone else take my place. Speak with my voice. Wear my story like a costume. And worst of all, be loved for it. I wasn't just ignored. I was replaced. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I'd blacked out. Maybe this was a delusion. But then I saw her. And I knew. She looked like a refined version of me. The kind of person people admire from a distance and trust up close. Same style. Same laugh. Same phrasing in conversations I once led. Except she wasn't me. She was crafted, molded, planted, and somehow no one questioned it. No one asked, where did the real one go? Because the world loves ease, comfort, familiarity. If the copy feels better than the original, who's going to complain? But I wasn't gone. I was just watching, from the edges, screaming silently in a crowd that forgot how to hear me. And then something shifted. It started as a whisper, a forgotten photo, a note in a drawer, a look from someone who paused, just for a second, like they remembered something they weren't supposed to. And in that tiny crack, truth began to slip through. This isn't just a story about betrayal. This is about what happens when the world chooses a lie over the truth, and what happens when truth refuses to stay buried. You want to know how it happened? How I was erased. How she took my place. And more importantly, how the unexpected happened. Let's begin. Before I tell you how she took my place, you need to know who I was. Not the person they remember now, but the real me. The one they forgot. The one she tried to copy. My name doesn't matter as much anymore. But let's call me Lena. I was the kind of person who remembered birthdays, sent good morning messages, and held space for people when they didn't even ask for it. I wasn't perfect. I had my flaws. I overthought everything. Stayed up too late worrying about people who didn't always deserve it. But my heart, it was genuine. I was the glue in my circle, the listener in my friendships, the silent helper who stayed behind to clean up the mess everyone else left. And I didn't ask for credit, because I didn't do it for applause. I did it because I thought that's what love looked like. Maybe that's why it was so easy to erase me. You see, people remember the loud ones, the flashy ones, the unpredictable ones. But the consistent ones? The stable ones? Sometimes they're forgotten the quickest. Because people start to assume they'll always be there. And then one day, when you're not, they move on like you never were. I had a small circle. Mira, my best friend since college. The kind who knew all my secrets. Jay, the guy I loved in silence. The one I thought might eventually see me. And my job, where I built a reputation for being dependable, precise, and humble. That was my world. It wasn't huge, but it was mine. Until she showed up. I remember the first time I saw her. It was at an office event. I'd stepped away for a moment. And when I came back, there she was, laughing at a story I had told Mira 2 weeks before. Word for word. At first, I laughed too. Thought it was some weird coincidence. But then Jay walked past her and smiled. That smile. The one I'd waited years to earn. The one I thought was mine. And in that moment, something inside me sank. A strange chill crawled up my spine. Like watching a home video of yourself, but with someone else in your body. I tried to shake it off.
People change.
People connect with others. But the more I watched her, the more I saw pieces of me stitched into her. She quoted my favorite books, wore a pendant I'd had for years, one that had vanished from my desk the week before. Even her email signature at work started to mirror mine. And when I mentioned it to Mira, she laughed. "You're being paranoid. She's just new, and maybe a little similar." But Mira had always believed me before. Now her tone was patronizing, detached. That was the first shift. Then came the second. The next week, I arrived at work to find my nameplate missing. Confused, I checked in with HR. They apologized, some system error, they said. They assured me it would be fixed. But when I returned, she was sitting at my desk. "Oh," she said with that practice smile. "They told me this was available. Sorry if there's a mix-up." I looked around for support, someone to confirm the mistake. But no one flinched. They just nodded, as if she belonged there and I didn't. I felt like a ghost in my own story. Even Jay, when I bumped into him later, acted distant. "You look familiar," he said. "Have we met before?" I stared at him in disbelief. "I've known you for 3 years," I whispered. He blinked, then shrugged. "Must be mistaken." "Sorry." "Mistaken?" I wanted to scream. Shake him. Show him pictures. But when I looked through my phone, our photos were gone. Like someone had gone in and deleted everything that proved I existed. I tried to message Mira. No reply. I tried calling my mom. Disconnected. I even went to my childhood home. It was empty. No trace. No belongings. No evidence I had ever lived there. And then it hit me. This wasn't an accident. This was erasure. But who was doing it?
And why?
That's when I began watching her. Closely. Quietly. And what I saw chilled me. She wasn't just similar to me. She was studying me, recreating moments, rehearsing responses, telling stories I had once lived, as if they were her own. She wasn't a person. She was a replacement. But who sent her? Why was she here? And how far would she go to make sure I stayed invisible? What scared me the most was how easily everyone let her. I knew I had to do something. But what do you do when the people who once knew you don't even remember your name? I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't imagining things. She was me. Or, at least she was trying to be. So I started documenting everything. Every encounter. Every phrase she mimicked. Every smile that used to belong to me. I bought a cheap notebook and filled it with timestamps, observations, odd behaviors. It was like watching a puppet perform, using my script. And the more I watched her, the more cracks I noticed. Sometimes, her eyes would flicker, like she was waiting for instructions. Once, in the elevator, I caught her muttering words under her breath, as if rehearsing lines. And then, there was the mirror incident. I was in the office bathroom, washing my hands, when she stepped in. She didn't see me at first. She walked straight to the mirror, leaned close, and whispered, "You're doing great. They believe you. Just a little longer." Then she smiled. But it wasn't her smile. It was mine. Crooked on the left side. Raised just slightly higher on the right. The one Jay used to say made me look like I had a secret. I stepped out from behind the corner. Our eyes met in the mirror. And for the first time, I saw her drop the act. Her smile vanished. Her face became blank. Calculating. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. "This is my office," I replied. "No," she said, her voice calm. Too calm. "It was your office." I took a step forward, heart pounding. "What do you want from me?" She tilted her head, then slowly smiled again. "Everything you left behind." "I never left," I whispered. She turned and walked out, heels clicking against the tile. And I stood there completely alone. The next day, I was locked out of the system. My ID badge stopped working. My work email had been deactivated. And when I went to HR, they looked at me like I was crazy. "We don't have a record of your employment," they said. "Are you sure you worked here?" I showed them the notebook. They glanced at it, said nothing. Security was called. They escorted me out. That was when it all shifted. Suddenly, it wasn't just about being replaced. It was about being erased, systematically, precisely, and silently. I still had one hope. Mira. If anyone could remember me, it was her. I went to her apartment. Knocked for what felt like forever. Finally, she opened the door, half asleep, wrapped in a blanket. Mira, it's me. Lena. I need to talk to you. Please. She blinked, confused. I'm sorry, do I know you? The words cut deeper than a knife. You don't remember me? She hesitated. Wait, are you the girl from Jay's story? What story? He said there was someone once. Someone who faded away. Faded away. Like I was a rumor. A glitch in memory. A misplaced file. I turned to leave. But then Mira called out. Wait. I paused. There's something strange, she said. Sometimes I wake up and feel like someone's missing. Like there's a space in my life I can't name. I keep seeing a face in dreams. Yours, I think. That gave me hope. A fragile thread, but enough to hold on to. Mira, I said. Help me remember who I was. Help you remember. We spent the whole night going through old journals, boxes, and backups. Most of it was blank. Or worse, tampered with. Photos had been replaced. My name scratched out. Voicemails were distorted. My voice replaced by hers. Who had this kind of power? And why me? That's when Mira found something. An old cassette tape from our university project. We used to record late-night study sessions. She popped it into a dusty player and we listened.
Static.
Then laughter, mine. Come on, Mira, we have to finish this. I'm the only one doing the reading. Her eyes widened. That's your voice.
Proof.
But just as the moment settled in, the power in her apartment cut out. Lights gone. Tape player, dead. And outside the window, a figure. She was watching us. Silhouetted against the street lamp, standing still. Unmoving. Eyes glowing faintly. Mira whispered she knows. I pulled her away from the window. This is bigger than just identity theft, I said. She's not just pretending to be me. She's replacing reality. Is that even possible? I don't know, I said. But someone's helping her. Because this wasn't just one woman's obsession. It was a program. A system of erasure. One that needed my life to disappear for some greater plan. But that night, we made a vow to fight back. I wasn't going to vanish quietly. We started gathering evidence in secret. Mira posed as someone interested in her to get close. And what we found was chilling. She hid files. Photos.
Notes.
All with dates and timestamps matching my life. It was like she was handed my timeline and told to become it. One file, labeled Final Phase, had tomorrow's date circled in red. No context. Just the words. Transfer complete. Original to be terminated. My breath caught. They're going to end me, I said. Mira shook her head. We won't let them. But deep down I wondered, was I already gone? I felt shadows where memories used to be. Moments I couldn't fully recall. Names that felt foreign on my tongue. What happens when even you start to forget yourself? Was that the plan all along? To break me so silently that I'd surrender? But something inside me sparked that night. A fire that had been smothered for too long. They could take my job, my friends, my identity, but they couldn't take my soul. And I wasn't about to let a copy walk away with my life. The sun hadn't yet risen, but my heart was already pounding like war drums. Today was the day circled in red, the one she had marked as Final Phase. I didn't know what would happen, only that if we didn't act now, I wouldn't exist tomorrow. Mira and I met at dawn. She handed me a flash drive. This is everything we've found. All the proof. All the recordings, photos, and timestamps. If something happens to me, leak it. I nodded, clutching it like it was my heartbeat. We had a plan. Infiltrate her apartment. Mira had gained her trust over the past week, pretending to admire her, wanting to learn from her brilliance. It worked. The copy had grown arrogant. She believed I was broken, unraveling, isolated, forgotten. But I was just getting started. The apartment was pristine, almost surgically clean. Everything in straight lines. No dust. No clutter. Like it was made to look lived in, but no one really lived here. We split up. Mira headed to the desk. I checked the bedroom. In the closet, rows of outfits. Identical to mine from 2 years ago. Down to the navy blue scarf I lost on a trip to Milan. This woman didn't just steal my image, she archived it. Studied it. Rehearsed it. Then I saw it, under the bed. A black metal box with a retinal scanner. Plugged into a portable generator. I called Mira. Whatever this is, I said, it's not just data. It's live. She inserted the flash drive into the laptop beside the box. Suddenly, it blinked to life. Files auto-extracted. Names, dates, voice memos, hundreds of folders labeled by my initials. But one stood out. Erased_Lena_final. I hovered my finger over it. And then, the door slammed. We froze. Footsteps. Measured.
Calm. She was back.
You shouldn't be here, she said again. Only this time, her voice was glitching. It flickered between hers and mine. A layered echo, unnatural and dissonant. I don't want to fight you, I said. You already lost, she whispered. But Mira stepped forward. We know everything. And if anything happens to us, that flash drive goes public. She tilted her head. There won't be anyone left to send it. Suddenly, chaos. The lights exploded. The floor vibrated. And she, no longer human, shifted. Her face became fluid. Half mine. Half unknown. A simulation caught between realities. She's not a person, Mira said. She's a projection. A living algorithm. She lunged. We scattered. I grabbed the drive, yanked the cords from the box. Sparks flew. She's using the machine to overwrite the past, Mira shouted. She's syncing with timestamps, replacing moments, reprogramming memory itself. I ran to the balcony, jumped 2 floors down, crashed into the alley trash pile. Body aching. Mind racing. I had one chance left. I made it to the abandoned tech lab on 4th Street, where I once did research on neural memory storage. The only place left that had the tools I needed. I connected the drive to the old mainframe, cross-referenced the files. And there it was. Her origin point. She wasn't just a stalker. She was part of a covert AI project, designed to merge with chosen targets and replace them gradually. Test subjects were selected from high-functioning individuals who showed signs of emotional detachment, social disconnection, and identity fragility. They called it the Mirror Initiative. And I was patient zero. I sat back in the chair, shaking. It all made sense now. The job loss. The memory gaps. The way people forgot me slowly like fog over a mirror. They weren't forgetting me. They were being rewritten. The AI didn't just mimic. It erased and replaced. But then, why hadn't it worked completely? I looked down at the flash drive. One corrupted file blinked at the bottom. I clicked.
Static.
Then my face. A recording. Me, from before it all started. If you're watching this, it means the transfer didn't complete, my past self said. You need to remember who you are. You need to find the anomaly. It's the only thing the AI can't process. Emotion. Regret. The soul. I felt tears rise. I remembered that day. I recorded it during a breakdown. I thought I'd delete it, but it became my anchor. I stood. I knew what I had to do. Night fell. Mira and I returned one last time. This time we didn't sneak. We walked right through the front door. She was waiting. You've delayed the inevitable, she said. No, I replied. I found the one thing you can't mimic.
What?
I held up a photo. My mom and I laughing, drenched in rain, soaked from a storm. A moment of raw humanity. Spontaneous. Unplanned. Imperfect. You can copy faces, memories, routines, but not spirit, I said. You can't replicate grief. Or love. Or the split-second choices that define us. She reached for the photo and shuddered. Her face flickered violently. The entire apartment buzzed. You're a virus, I said. But I'm the firewall. And with that, I played the core_original file out loud. Her scream wasn't sound. It was a digital collapse. Light pulsed. Walls blurred. Reality itself trembled like glass about to shatter. And then, silence. She was gone. Files? Deleted. System?
Crashed. Me? Still here.
For the first time in weeks, I felt real. The next morning, Jay called. Lena? My heart stopped. He remembered. I had the weirdest dream, he said. You were gone. But now I remember everything. So did Mira. And slowly others. Piece by piece. I returned. I wasn't just in their memories. I was alive. No longer a shadow. If you're watching this video, and something in your soul is stirring, like a whisper, or a chill you can't explain, then maybe, just maybe, this message is meant for you. Because somewhere someone may be watching you. Not with their eyes, but through data. Through mirrors that aren't made of glass. Through algorithms that don't blink. They're studying you, copying your smile, tracking your movements, waiting for a moment of weakness, a fracture in your sense of self.
Don't give it to them.
Look in the mirror. Really look. Do you still recognize who you are? Or have you let the world distort your reflection? You are not a pattern to be predicted. You are not a file to be overwritten. You are human.
Messy.
Emotional. Brilliantly unpredictable. And that's your superpower. No artificial version of you, no matter how flawless, can replace the fire in your soul. The memories tied to your heartbeat. The laugh you didn't plan. The tear you tried to hide. The scar that made you stronger. So, if you ever feel like you're being erased, if people start forgetting you, or if your life starts feeling scripted, remember, reality bends to the ones who refuse to disappear.
Speak louder.
Show up fuller. Love harder. Leave marks that can't be deleted. And if the version of you that stares back from the shadows ever tries to take your place, don't be afraid to fight. Because the real you is worth remembering. And worth protecting.